about that pride factor in the United States and what we do.
You said the Australians do that you have to build up after.
Yep, they try to get another chunk of training.
Where does the US do that?
I mean, you go up a little bit, but you don't have enough time. I mean, at no point in 2012 or 2016 was Missy ever completely broken down after the Olympic trials. It was more like, all right, we got to come back up a little bit, then let's dial in the things that we needed to be identified from trials, let's dial those in going to the Olympics. Fitness isn't going to change in 2 or 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, it's not. Okay? The fitness that they have at trials is the fitness that they're going to have at the Olympics. Then it's about getting their mind in the right place and being able to dial that in. Yep.
The secret service in the they just naturally they can allow themselves to become
Not all of them.
role models to the younger
Not all of them. I'll tell you what, Michael was more of a mentor this year than he's ever been before. And I'm not faulting Michael for that, because Michael, every other Olympics, has swam one of the hardest schedules the Olympics swimming has ever seen. I got no problem with him not in, okay? Same thing as Missy. In 2012, Missy swam every session. She had 2 sessions off total in all 8 days, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, she wanted to be sitting in the stands cheering on her teammates, but that's not what was going to make Missy Franklin swim fast. And that's very well understood on the U.S. team. You got a job to do, you do your job. When your job is done, then you come out and support everybody else. And that's what happened with Missy this year. After her last race, every session after that, ladies and gentlemen, even though she didn't perform the way she wanted, she was sitting in the stands cheering on her teammates every session after that. That's very important. But you know, yeah, you know what? But some people are more natural leaders than others. You can't force that upon them. But I can tell you that every single athlete, even if they're not vocal, is very open to having any athlete on that team come up to them and ask them a question. Be it Natalie, be it Matt, be it Nathan, be it any of them. 100% they're open to conversation and tell them their stories about, hey, this is what happened at this Olympics, and be ready for this. And a lot of that happens, like 2012, they had every Olympian that had been there before, and they had stood up and they just said, hey, what's one thing you want to say to the group that they should be thinking about going in the Olympics? Like, you can't forget your credential or you're not going to get on the bus, okay? Yeah, it's something important, okay? Because kids leave their credentials all the time, okay? If you leave your credential, you're not going to get in the pool. Just little things like that that somebody might not think about, and just a good reminder for somebody. But, you know, people are better mentors than others. All right.
What's your opinion on USRPT?
USRPT, ultra short race-based training. That's what that stands for, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it comes down to accountability. That's really what USRPT is based on, is accountability to the athlete, stroke counts, stroke rates, things like that. I would love to see USRPT implemented in my 40 kids, if possible. I can't count every kid's strokes. I can't get every kid's times. Impossible for me to run. Okay? The poster child of USRPT has a 2-lane, 25-yard pool in his backyard. He's homeschooled, and his dad's his coach. I got none of that. None of you have any of that. We all have more than one athlete in our pool. So I want to see how it's implemented in my pool, in my practice, when I have 5 kids in a lane. Nobody's been able to tell me how that happens. Also, the gentleman who came up with USRPT, a doctor, I've had a personal conversation with him, and I said, so Dr. Russell, what's the factor of altitude? He looked right at me and he said, there is none. And I said, yep, and you just lost me, and I walked out. Because that's absolute garbage. Because I grew up at low altitude, and I coach at 6,000 feet. And absolutely, altitude has an effect on every single one of my athletes in the pool, every day. Recovery time is longer, you don't have the same repeats, all those things. So you know what, when a doctor or a scientist absolutely just said that doesn't work, or that's not a factor, yeah, then you lost me, man. Then you're truly not looking at the big picture. So, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that I've never been able to see how it's going to be implemented in my group of 225 athletes.
Sorry,
Yeah, we got a last question because I got to go out and run pool session.
Hans feeling, just briefly mentioned that Marco. What is your feeling on Hans feeling?
Well, it doesn't set your athlete up or your child up for be socially to be socially, I'll tell you what, almost every athlete that I've ever had that is homeschooled is socially awkward. It is, okay? Because they don't have that interaction. They don't interact with kids every day from morning till night. They're dealing with their mom or dad. And it's just very hard for them to be socially back into everything. And then they try and come to high school, and man, they struggled because it's not the same. And they actually have to have more structure. Homeschool most of the time is done in like 3 or 4 hour chunk, that's it. It's not a 7-hour day like every one of our other kids go to school. So I struggle with it because I just don't think it sets them up for life and to be so, my brother homeschools his kids. And I tell him I think he's stupid for it. I do. Because I coach kids that are like that. And I said, Brad, you don't want your kids to do that. So, but
Even at your high level.
yeah, I mean, but everybody makes their own decision, and I'm not going to tell a parent how to parent. I'm just going to tell them my experiences. All right, thank you.
Right, guys, we'll meet back at 10 past. There's some coffee, there's some cold water out there. If you want 10 past.